with mentoring?
One of the things that we don't talk a lot about, but I know you're familiar with, is the 40 developmental assets, which says if you have these things, you're more likely to be successful. And a huge one is all kinds of things about mentors. And it doesn't have to be a formal mentor. It can be a neighbor.
Right.
It can, that says, hey, have you thought about your career?
Exactly.
Have you thought about this? But like you mentioned, in our culture today, everybody's so busy,
right,
that we have lost that neighborhood sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember when I misbehaved, my neighbor would spank me, and then call my
right.
parents and say, hey, you know what your son did? And then when I got home, I got another spanking.
Exactly.
But we've lost that sense of community. And so those people, informal mentors, really aren't there like they were when we grew up.
That's right. And the sense of it takes a village to raise a child,
Mm-hmm.
that's almost obsolete now. But I believe at a certain point we need to get back to that, and I believe that mentoring is a way to getting back to, incorporating everyone, the community,
Mm-hmm.
and giving back to making a difference in a child's life.
Yeah, because when we ask people or kids, who is your role model,
Mm-hmm.
or who is even your mentor, but kids may not understand mentor. A lot back in the day would say, oh, this teacher or that teacher.
Right.
Now we have this musician, or
Basketball
this
player.
athlete, or that, and there's a real disconnect
Right.
on what kind of things they're teaching the kids, or they're not truly there for them, unlike a mentorship role that the kid can ask questions, and they can challenge their beliefs and be reinforced that this
Right.
is the right thing to do, and sort of encourage them to think beyond what they're currently doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, when I was raising my kids, like I said, I was a single parent, and my belief is that I was the role model for my kids, not for them to look at athletes and
Right.
NFL or NBA players to be their role model. But in addition to that, growing up, I had teachers and coaches who were role models for me, who, like you mentioned, they inspired me, they believed in me, they motivated me.
Right.
And now, these days, the times that we're living in, even in the school system, everything is so SOL driven.
Right.
So a lot of that time, the teachers don't really have to really mentor a child, like in our days.
Right. Yeah, I remember another great mentor I had was my swim coach in high school. He was a science teacher, but also my swim coach, and he used to say, it wasn't always a warm and fuzzy mentorship.
Right.
Sometimes he had to crack the whip because he wanted us to be good, and he sort of told us like it is, but he was an adult there that cared about us, that wanted the best, and helped guide us through this crazy thing called life.
Exactly.
I think people think, sometimes parents and adults in society think that kids just raise themselves, and that if we just let a kid and really don't mess with them, that they'll become a productive adult. And we know that that's not true.
Right.
Isn't that why we're doing mentorship?
Exactly. And I believe that they desire structure. That's always been my belief. And I also believe that that youth, they would benefit from having a positive role model, someone who would be there in their life to listen to them when situations arise. And they need guidance. They need someone to kind of guide them along. And a lot of the mentees that I see are making poor decisions. So they need someone they can look up to that can help them, even in the decision-making process.
Right. That reminds me of my mom was, a great mentor, and sometimes we as parents want to say, oh yeah, you did the right thing, and we always want to be proud of our child. Well, if I come home and say, oh, I got an argument with so-and-so, And she said, oh, what happened? If I was on the wrong side of the fence, she said, well, you're wrong. You need to go apologize.
Exactly.
I mean, there was no, she called it like she saw it.
Right.
But she did that because she loved me.
That's exactly right.
And as a kid, you don't understand that. As a kid, you think a parent loves you because they let you do whatever you want and let you stay up to whatever time and eat candy and that's what love is. But it was a lot. I'd never understood that till I got older. That my mom set boundaries for me, and she told me when I was wrong, and she helped guide me, and that is what youth need to become our future leaders.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And like myself, my mom, it was never any gray areas with my mom. It was always either black or white, yes or no, nothing in between. I grew up, she was a strict disciplinarian, and I thank God even today for her raising and for her teaching and what she told me and for setting those boundaries.
Right.
It's the reason why I'm here today. And so I am very thankful for that. But also, we have to remember we can't reward bad behavior. There are consequences to your choices, whether it be good or bad.
Right.
So,
and too many times we don't want to tell our child they're wrong, or even in our culture today, there's this real push against saying that anything's wrong. A child does something, oh yeah, that's how the child is, and we know that you and I wouldn't be successful and be raising successful kids if we had that happen.
Right.
So let's talk just a minute before the break about the WISE mentorship program is called Reach and Rise.
Reach and Rise.
And tell us how that sort of came about and how it's funded, and then we'll get into the specifics after the break.
Okay. The Reach and Rise mentoring program, it was actually this program was created over 20-some years ago.
Okay.
A group of mental health professionals from San Francisco, California, they sat down and they designed a program. They wanted to reach the students or youth who were emotional, behavior, and had family needs, and they had looked at some of the other mentoring programs who were not addressing those needs, and they created Reach and Rise. Reach and Rise is a national program. It's therapeutic. It's one-on-one, and just an awesome program. This grant was created that we applied for the grant through the Office of Juvenile Justice, Delinquent Prevention. And so this grant is also offered in 38 other YMCAs.
Okay,
but
we are the only one in Virginia.
And we are the only one in Virginia.
Yeah. So with 25 years of experience, they've refined this, so it is a very effective